And we are going.
Gone. We've done that one
Done
before,
that
but
joke before.
we have, but I did it where I was like right up close to the microphone,
Yep.
and I thought I won't damage people's ears this time around. So,
Yep.
welcome back to Your Time Starts Now, a Taskmaster podcast. By the end of this episode, we will have crossed the threshold into the second half of the series. I'm Emerson.
And I am Joe.
You knew that already. And today we're covering Taskmaster Series 6, Episode 5, simply titled H.
Yes. Or if you're watching it on the YouTube version, H with a period after it.
Yep. So, Joe, what's new in your life before we talk the episode?
Not much. My family had a party over the weekend for just because it's an annual Halloween party.
Okay.
What?
I was going to say, Halloween reminds me that my birthday's coming up, as we've already mentioned.
I have to send you something. Can you send me your address after this so I can send you it?
Yeah, that'd be great. I've got a couple of things. I got invited to an induction for a job I applied, which essentially means I've got the job.
Oh, neat.
Yep, it's at a pub restaurant. Restaurant kind of thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. Just a bit of money while I'm at uni.
Is it a Spoons or is it some other thing?
It's not Spoons. It's a place called O'Neill's. It brands itself as an Irish pub restaurant thing, but there's nothing really Irish about it. Like, you don't see a bunch of heavily drunk redheaded men in there.
We have Irish pubs here too, and they're the exact same thing where it's like, Irish pub. Oh, good. So you serve Guinness along with a bunch of shitty beers.
The other thing... Sorry, but this is more important.
Yeah.
The other piece of big news, not regarding me, but regarding Taskmaster in general, if you're Australian and you listen to this podcast, Taskmaster Australia has finally been greenlit, and a 10-episode series will be coming out next year.
Yes, it has. And if you are listening to this and happen to be Canadian and don't pay much attention to regular television, they have also been broadcasting the first season of French-Canadian Taskmaster for a couple of months already. Or should I say Quebec Taskmaster?
Yeah, you've said in the past that Quebec treats itself as like its own country separate from the rest of Canada.
Yeah, Quebecois Taskmaster. It's in French.
Yeah. I want to quickly talk about the cast for Taskmaster Australia. Because, interestingly, the Taskmaster and Taskmaster's assistant have the same first name. Which is totally not going to be confusing at all. The Taskmaster is Tom Gleeson, and the Taskmaster's assistant is Tom Cashman.
That'll clear things right up.
Yep. The contestants for the first series, we have Danielle Walker. It lists a couple of things that she's in here. It says that she's a stand-up comedian who has appeared on ABC Comedy's Tonightly with Tom Ballard, another Tom, and just for the last stand-up series on the Comedy Channel. Jimmy Rees, who is known for playing his role as the role of Jimmy Giggle on the ABC Kids flagship program Giggle and Hoot from 2009 to 2020. And in 2019, he competed on the 16th season of Australia's Dancing with the Stars. The only person from this list I recognize is Julia Morris. She moved to the UK for about five or 6 years, and she was on a couple of episodes of QI and Not Going Out, that show Lee Mack's on. She was also on the Australian version of I'm a Celebrity. I know Julia just because she was on the second season of the Australian Masked Singer, because I'm a big Masked Singer fan. You've got Luke McGregor, who is a comedian, writer, and actor, known for his role in the TV series Utopia and Rosehaven. And finally, we've got Nina Oyama, a comedian, writer, actor, and director, known for a bunch of other stuff. She was also on Tonight with Tom Ballard. The Taskmaster assistants themselves, they're both stand-up comedians. Tom Gleeson's the more established one, but Tom Cashman is more up-and-coming.
I think it's really interesting that this is done by ABC because in America, ABC is one of the old standard big three broadcast.
The
corporation.
In Australia,
I know
AB
A stands for Australian Broadcasting Corporation.
Are they owned by the same company?
No.
That makes...
ABC in America is now Disney. And ABC in Australia is
Disney owns
His Majesty His Majesty Charles III, King of Australia, I believe, because it's technically a state-owned corporation.
I mean, Australia's going to be pretty pissed off when you say that, even though it's a part of the
It's
Commonwealth.
true. His mother is still on the money until they print new ones. And then also interestingly, because
I very nearly closed the tab down for Zencaster while I was flicking between my own ones.
Oh my god.
That would have been a disaster.
That would have been. I am also just reading on the same press release that you're looking at, which is that the chief task writer for Taskmaster New Zealand is writing tasks for this show.
They're filming. Apparently, they're going to film in the same. Apparently, they're going to film in the same location as Taskmaster New Zealand as well, which is the fuck off big house and surrounding ranch.
Yeah, which is
exciting.
Australian. Have someone in New Zealand do it for you.
I will say though, after watching a couple other versions of Taskmaster, the Taskmaster UK house, as iconic as it is very small.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I mean, in US Taskmaster, God forbid, they have a big old mansion.
Yeah, they do. It's probably like a $3 million house in the LA Basin.
I do think Taskmaster New Zealand has my favorite task location, like Taskmaster house area. But the UK one still definitely has that sort of simplicity charm to it. Anyway, shall we talk Taskmaster?
Yes, we shall.
Like Taskmaster UK.
Yes.
So like I was saying, I want to give a special thanks to taskmaster.info for supplying extremely accurate information for these tasks. And thankfully, so I don't have to spend too much time writing out notes anymore.
It makes my job so much easier.
Fucking same. Anyway, who wants to begin with the prize task?
Did I do it last time or did you?
I think I did. I think I do a lot more prize.
Then I'll do this prize task.
Quickly, should we talk about the banter? Alex has pre-recorded a bit of banter.
Well, actually, no. I want to just start with this. Greg turns to Alex and asks if they want to do their standard 2 minutes of banter, and Alex just goes no. And I know that they continue the bit after this, but if they'd just gone straight on from there, I think it would have been much funnier, even though we wouldn't have gotten "I'm Alex Horn and I support apartheid," which is...
I did have to Google what apartheid was.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Do you want me to explain it in case anybody else doesn't know either?
I mean, sure. We've got nothing to lose.
For those of you who don't know, apartheid is, I think it's either a Dutch or an Afrikaner's word for apartness, which is how the South African government between the 1950s and the 1990s used to segregate different races of people based on extremely arbitrary guidelines, and is widely considered one of the most racist things ever instituted at a national level, and is why South Africa was an international pariah until Nelson Mandela dragged them out of the Dark Ages in 1992. It's generally considered really bad. And is the country still really fucked up as a result of it? And saying I like apartheid is kind of like saying that that Hitler's not a bad guy for a general level.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, that's rough. Anyway, the prize task. You want to do this one, Joe?
I would. Oh, by the way, just to explain why Alex said that, he did bring in a pre-recorded thing where it's like he voiced himself and Greg, and they just mouthed the words, and Greg got annoyed with that, and so did a thing off the cuff where he made Alex mouth whatever he was saying, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "I'm Alex Horn and I support apartheid," which is outrageous, and the crowd just dies laughing.
Well, I know one thing that's not going to be our episode title, as iconic as it is.
Yes. No, we're not making that the title. I'm putting my foot down.
I never said we were going to make it the episode title.
I know. I'm just saying that is definitely never going to be it. But anyways, we go on to the prize task, which is, honest to God, one of the ones that I think could have been done really well, but was let down by the contestants, which is bring in the sturdiest thing.
We're getting to that point in the show where we're not there yet, but we're slowly getting there to the point where contestants are sort of just bringing in prizes as jokes. Like, I think Series 10 is the one where it's properly noticeable. I think it happened slightly before then with a couple of people, but it's Series 10 is like where it's really like, oh, we're just doing this for a joke.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and also I can't remember where the hell I read it. I think it was on the Taskmaster subreddit that apparently a couple of times people had to bring in like different items last second because something came out that like it was that they couldn't use that. Like I'm you're gonna have to work with me here because I can't remember, but one of the more recent series had a guy who brought in a Liam Neeson recording for something, and it turns out that several of the people on that were not comfortable with that
Is this
because
Taskmaster UK?
yeah, like I think
I,
it might be the like one of the more recent seasons.
I don't recall off the top of my head. The only Liam Neeson thing I remember is in
No,
season 5 with.
he couldn't bring it in, but found that last minute because apparently in the meantime, like apparently a couple of years ago, Liam Neeson did or said something extremely racist that the people who were on the show with him didn't like weren't comfortable with, and so he had to swap it out for something mediocre last second that like he brought in as a
He
joke
literally grabbed it as he left, sort of thing.
or something like or like they emailed him like day before or something like that. And I've also heard that a couple people had issues with like not being able to bring in stuff because it was like illegal or something, or the network said no. So this might be a result of this, but I just think it's kind of overall disappointing at the definitions of what everyone said was sturdy. So
It's not come up. I can't remember this off the top of my head. Anyway, should we actually talk about what these
yes.
people have brought
Okay,
in?
so starting off with if you do happen to know which I'm talking about, audience, please do let us know in the comments because I can't remember where I heard about this and I didn't like send it to anyone else, so you're gonna have to trust me. We
Tim's up
start
first.
Yes, and Greg also is referred to as Lord by Alex as they introduce this task. Nice
Throwback to
callback to
Catherine Ryan.
Yes. We start with Tim Vine, who says that whenever he gets angry, he goes outside and throws a small, like couple inch high Saint Bernard dog toy on the ground.
National dog of
And it
Switzerland, the Saint Bernard.
yes, and apparently this does not injure the dog. This does not hurt the toy in any way because it's a very small toy and there's a physics thing that actually explains why smaller objects are less likely to shatter, especially if they're solid. I don't remember that. This is the only goddamn sturdy thing in this.
I mean, Greg says that if he fell on top of it, it would be obliterated.
It might hurt. No, actually, if it's solid resin and it's only like 3 inches high, it actually might have a chance of hurting Greg more than it would breaking. Because it really when you get down to stuff that small, they're really hard to like find a fracture point.
Jesus.
But next we have Asim, who announced that he was a vegan and then he was bringing in an egg. Eggs are not sturdy. This is bullshit. Also, this is kind of why I
Well,
was thinking.
I mean,
that
eggs are
maybe he
kind
had
of sturdy.
No, they're not.
I mean, do you remember back in Series 1 where they had to throw the egg up as high as possible and then try and or get not throw the egg, but just get it as high as possible?
Okay, I can crush an egg in my hand. It is therefore not sturdy.
But I think relative to the situation and what it's
No.
trying to do, like, I think surely if you have a small
There,
scale bench press, say,
no.
you lift up
Like, listen, Emerson.
10
There is in
dumbbells. That's
U.S. law. There is actually a phrase known as the eggshell plaintiff, which is that if you hurt someone, and because like doing something lightly and not knowing that they were like let's say they have like an already broken arm and you hit it and you break it worse and you say I couldn't know, it's like tough shit, they can still sue you because they're an eggshell plaintiff. it Eggshells are not eggs are not sturdy. It's bullshit. And also this is what makes me think that Asim had to bring in something last minute because something must have changed, but I don't know what.
I personally find the fact that he said he was vegan very
That is very
interesting.
funny. That is, I guess he and Ramesh can start in their vegan news show or something.
Oh no. This is just me knowing something you don't, Joe, and I'm going to keep
What?
it that way.
Okay, whatever. Uh,
If
I
you've
mean,
seen the whole of Series 6, you know what I'm talking about.
well, we
But
have.
this man
I
does
have.
not.
Well, I haven't. Whatever. I'll forget it. So, anyways, onwards next. Lisa Tarbuck brings in the only other thing that could be reasonably be considered sturdy, and even then, I'm not thinking that's it. Okay, she brought in a donkey. The donkey is named Thomas. The winner can ride on it or walk next to it or take pictures next to it, whatever.
If someone asked
It's
me to name a donkey, that wouldn't be in like my first.
no, it wouldn't. I
But
I'm
maybe
gonna
that's why
go.
it's so funny.
It
It's
probably
like
is.
naming the It's like the camel called Stuart, in a way.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give her this because a donkey is sturdy for an animal, and so I am going to agree that a donkey is a fairly sturdy animal. Not anything
Also, think
else.
back to the story of the Nativity, where the donkey had to carry pregnant Mary
Well, I was just going off
over
the fact that the donkey.
miles and miles of desert.
I was just going on with the fact that the donkey is renowned throughout history as being a very sturdy pack animal.
They're
Um,
resilient creatures. I'll give them that.
yes,
They're the animal version of a cactus.
yes.
Um,
Anyways, moving on to
Alice.
something that's not fucking sturdy. So you're gonna have to walk our American listeners through
For
what an
God's sake.
allotment is, but
Okay.
but this
So
is just to preface this. Alice says that she wanted to have something that was proven to be sturdy, and the polythene tunnel that her mother uses to grow plants in her allotment is apparently very sturdy. I don't know if she's gotten permission from her mother to do this, but we're going to ignore that. What's an allotment?
an allotment is essentially it's an area where people can go to grow plants, vegetables, essentially all that. It's mainly for people who don't really have access to a garden of their own, or necessarily have enough room to grow things.
I
It's
see.
yeah. We
Okay, so
don't
it's
have
basically
one.
a public garden.
Yeah, it's a public place to plant things because the word garden is very different to a lot of people. For someone like me, it just means a small grassy area behind your house would be a garden. But maybe for someone
Okay,
like you, a garden is more
a
nice
garden is
flowers
more.
and
No, yeah.
trees and like you
Well, no,
probably call a what I'd call a garden, you would call a backyard.
yeah, a backyard or a lawn. Gardens are specifically for growing a plant for either
Like
like
you might think a
picking.
botanical garden. Like when you say garden, you might
Yeah,
think botanical gardens.
yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
that's essentially what an allotment is, and Greg fucking jizzes his pants over this.
he did enjoy it very much. I suppose that's what he's middle aged, so he quite enjoys more mundane
That might be
things.
one of the funniest things I've said.
The problem is that it's not sturdy. It's made of polythene. I don't care. I
Well, maybe it's sturdy
don't.
because it can survive harsh weathers or something.
It
Remember,
that doesn't.
sturdy does not necessarily have to mean it can take the weight of an elephant.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
Like,
that when you imagine sturdy, you don't imagine something made of stretched plastic fabric that's in millimeter thick. That's what polythene is. I could I could smash my way through that like the Hulk or Godzilla.
well, you'd probably be sued because of that eggshell thing you mentioned.
No, it's because it's in England, so it wouldn't matter. English law doesn't apply. Doesn't have that, I don't think. But anyways,
I know fuck all
on
about law.
onwards to what Russell brought in, which is his brother's calf muscles. Which
Yes,
I
he fully amputated his brother's lower leg to
no, he
perform
brought
it.
the
No,
brother.
of
The
course I'm
brother is
joking.
still
Of course
attached to them. I
I'm
know you're
joking.
joking.
Let me
I
let me fucking have my moment.
I know you're joking.
Then just fucking shut your mouth for a second, please.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's funny when we get angry. Well, one of us gets angry.
Okay. Anyways, Russell cut his brother's leg off. and brought in the calf muscles, and then is going to give them away without his brother's consent.
Why are you saying he cut his legs off? He obviously didn't do that.
Whatever. Anyways,
I shouldn't clap it.
I appreciate this one because I also have really strong calf muscles.
Would you care to enlighten me?
I'm a very heavy person, so I have good calf muscles. Every day is
How much do you
when
weigh?
you're fat. We've been through this, Emerson, like twice as much as you, if not more.
Do you think you could probably deadlift me?
Absolutely, I could.
If we ever in the extremely unlikely event that we end up in the same room, would you deadlift me?
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody lets me deadlift them. I always offer.
I mean, I'm going to offer you, but make sure we do it on some sort of soft surface like grass or the floor of like a trampoline gym.
Yes. And then, but anyways, what would you bring in for the sturdiest thing?
The sturdiest thing? It's a good question. Because I never come prepared because we're so inconsistent with this and I don't ever really know if we're going to do it.
Well, we forgot last time, but normally we've been trying to do this.
I think I'll probably bring in my metal water bottle, which I so often screw and unscrew open to the absolute displeasure of the editor, aka me, because I then have to edit it all out. Oh, and it sounds funny when you talk into it like this.
Oh my god. I'd bring in like a lump of concrete. You know, it's like, or steel. Or a
steel would be better because you can smash concrete and it will.
Or a lump of granite. A lump of granite would probably, like, several 100 pounds of granite would probably be the sturdiest thing you could reasonably bring in.
I think when it comes to prize tasks, while you do have to try and meet the criteria, I would personally think, what would I like to take home? Or what would I be comfortable bringing back with me?
Several 100 pounds of granite on a cart. No cart. Fuck you. My cart. You don't get the cart. Just a truck shows up and drops off at the studio day of filming.
And then you just have to carry it all home by hand.
Yeah. Good luck taking that on the overground.
Yeah, like Frank Skinner did with the boulder.
Yes.
Yeah, a boulder that was nearly as old as Frank Skinner himself.
Yes.
We haven't made a Frank Skinner as old joke in ages.
We have not. We have not. And then
Frank Skinner has been alive longer than we have not. We what am I trying to say? Fuck it, I don't know.
Frank Skinner predates the heat death of the universe. The heat life of the universe. But anyways,
Frank Skinner gave birth to God. Let's put it at that.
That's an image I don't want. Anyways, now we're going to do the scores. Greg put Asim in last, unsurprisingly. Tim in fourth, Russell in third, Alice second, Lisa first. Drop the Taskmaster Joe theme right here.
Jingle time, go. That was a shit click, but oh well.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Right, Tim goes first. I thought that it was the sturdiest thing that was brought in, followed by Lisa. Then I'm putting Russell and Alice in joint fourth because neither of those were very good in terms of sturdiness. And that stays true after I saw the full body of Russell's brother, because holy shit, the rest of that guy isn't sturdy. And then Asim gets led last place.
Fair enough. I mean, Asim's at a howler.
Yeah, and then also there is no similar task to this ever done, as far as I can tell.
I mean, there are similar tasks, but there's no exact.
There's no exact same task, which is
exact
very
same
unusual.
task. No, I mean, prize tasks are very niche.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're especially unique when you do think about Taskmaster USA, which I mean had no fucking prize task at all. So my turn to do VT task 1. Without leaving the caravan, work out how long this piece of string is. Sorry, it was written wrong in my notes. I wrote Well, the thing is, I copied and pasted it from Taskmaster, the Taskmaster.info. You should probably edit that. It actually says on the Taskmaster info website, without leaving the caravan, work out on long this piece of string is.
Oh, yeah, it does. I just glossed over that.
We'll let you off with a warning, Taskmaster.info, but you should probably fix that.
His name is Carl. You should just email him.
Yeah, he's probably got more important things to do. You have 5 minutes.
That's probably important to him. You should just email him.
All right, send me the email.
It's
send
on
me
the website that you're looking at.
I'll look for it later. And save me some looking, mate. Anyway, you have 5 minutes. Most accurate answer wins. One of my notes is Tim goes on a fucking wild goose chase. Most unnecessary wild.
Tim was really funny. My notes say everyone follows the string. Tim does so with less dignity than the rest.
No, Tim follows the string as literally as he can. And that's... Sorry, I turned away from my microphone.
Because
Tim is notoriously quiet. He's very... I like to consider him quite... He has a very childish sense of humor.
Yeah.
And this is the most... Yeah, this is the most Tim Vine thing. Like,
because the string went... Because just to start, they started in the doorway of the house, and the string went all the way through the house, outside through a child's play tunnel thingy, and then into the into a bathtub, and then into the caravan, where it ended.
Oof. Anywho, so the two little boys, as Greg calls them, Asim and Russell, are paired up. I don't have much to say about both of these.
Bad guessing.
Yeah, I mean, Greg said Asim had a great scientific mind, and Asim and Russell ended up guessing 500 feet and 102 feet, respectively, which are both very different measurements, but that wasn't the most outlandish.
That Greg saying that was a bit of sarcasm, because Asim originally guessed 210 feet, and then Alex says, "Are you counting the ball in that?" Which is the ball of twine. And so he just doubles his guess without any further thing.
I should just say, on Taskmaster.info, the first 4 contestants alphabetically, they only have like maximum two lines explaining what they do. Tim has a grand total of 7 lines explaining what he does. Well, barely 7.
In fairness, Russell's thing actually was only that. Russell just guesstimated that it was 31 meters of... He said it in meters, which was really weird, but he guessed 31 meters of string, which was wrong.
I mean, people say that the UK is great for using the metric system. I'm honestly going to say we're stuck between the two.
Well, I mean, it was wrong because it wasn't the correct distance.
I mean, for longer distances, we prefer the imperial system, but for shorter ones, when I'm talking short, I mean like less than a meter. We prefer the metric system, mainly just because it's more precise. In terms of weight, we use stone, which I don't think anyone else uses.
Yeah, we're not even talking about fucking stones. I'll throw a stone at someone's head. A stone is sturdy.
You could say what you could do is you could be a news reporter, pick up a stone and throw it towards a crime scene, and then say, "Oh, sorry," and then turn to the camera and say, "As you can see, I'm a stone's throw away from the scene at which Greg Davies murdered Alex Horn."
Right.
That's based off Mock the Week scenes we'd like to see. There's only like 2 or 3 shows left of.
Yes, I know, and then we get the sad finale. It's very upsetting.
What do you think Dara O'Brien should do next? Because I know he's doing Taskmaster, but he needs a new big show.
Pack up and take Mock the Week over to Dave.
It's not really the right move, I think.
No, I'd love to see it keep going. I mean,
but there's it's not sort of like when Taskmaster moved to Channel 4, it was, in my opinion, definitely the right way to take the show because, yeah. It's the most popular it's ever been. And
they should do Mock the Week live on Dave or on Channel 4.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the measurements of the boys, well, the 2 little boys. The girls, Lisa pulled at the string pulled all the string into the caravan, but she had no idea how to measure it. So she guessed a grand total of 4 miles.
Yeah, Lisa just utterly blue screened. It was actually quite tragic. She managed to get it all the way in, and then just like,
Lisa's
I
done
have no idea.
amazing so far throughout the series, but oh my god, this was like a... Why did I just mute my mic? I was going to mute my microphone so I could drink from my water bottle, but then I realized I'm still supposed to be talking. I can't just mute myself.
We're a podcast.
But that's sort of the fun of it. It doesn't have to be professional.
I know. Continue.
She guessed it was 4 miles long. Alice cut a piece of the string roughly 5'7", which was her height, and she stated that was her answer.
I like this answer. It doesn't get her anywhere with Greg.
I didn't hate it, but it's sort of just
do you know why?
People ask how long a piece of string is, and that's the answer always differs.
Do you want to know why she didn't get the full points, I think, for this? Is because the task said, without leaving the caravan, work out how long this piece of string is, right?
Yeah.
So she clearly needed to take pull the string all the way in with the task still attached to it, because the task was attached to the end of the string, and then stick the task onto the 5'7" piece of string.
Oh, okay.
And then that's this piece of string.
Oh, okay.
But she didn't do that, so she didn't get it.
You make a very 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 good point. You make a very good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then,
next up, it's Vine time, which is a sentence that you'll probably hear a lot throughout this episode.
I was really excited when they showed the guys and then the girls, and then it's like, oh no, Tim's by himself. Oh no, because it's only ever like wild success or absolute mediocrity when they do that.
Not really. Sometimes we've had extremely average moments.
Well,
but
no,
more often the overwhelming majority is what you've said. Let's talk what Tim says, or does rather. So Tim, he took his sweet time getting to the task. He followed the string through like a cross-shaped like
child's play tunnel,
and he went in both entrances and exits. And he finally got there. He didn't have to, but he finally gets to the task after 15 minutes.
This child's play tunnel is smaller than he is. It's in his
defense, he said he didn't. He was worried that he would get disqualified if he didn't do it.
I believe him. It doesn't matter. It's still funny.
I mean, he didn't want to take risks, and I respect it. Anyway, so he decides to measure the string using a plastic lobster that he found, and he assumes that the lobster's roughly a foot long. So he continues to wrap the string around it.
Instead about 30 centimeters.
30 centimeters, 30 centimeters. He wraps the string around, and he gets a grand total of 308. His guess is 308 lobsters, assuming the lobster is 30 centimeters. So that's about 308 feet. The exact length of the string, according to Alex Horn, 97 meters, aka 318 feet, meaning that Tim was only 10 feet out for people who can't do basic maths.
My notes say measures it against a toy lobster, and it improbably seems like it's working.
My only written note is best moment of the series by far.
I cannot believe, like to put into context how wildly out of nowhere this was. The lobster's sitting on a shelf in the caravan as set decoration.
Yeah.
Tim rapidly just grabs it and then starts wrapping the string around it like you would like a string winder. And I can't believe it works. I can't believe, because he's managed to like hook the string over a claw and over the tail, and it's working like that. Like none of that should work. And the fact that he managed that is astonishing. The fact that he came within 10 feet is absolutely amazing.
Like I said, it's extremely impressive, and Tim was absolutely beside himself with excitement.
Also, I do appreciate the chaos that he caused as he drags the string in by first pulling in all the stuff the string was wrapped around, including eventually the play tunnel, which is just being dragged across the lawn over the fence around the caravan, and it's great.
It's complete carnage. Anyway, we can't really do Taskmaster Joe for this, but the scores are Tim 5, Asim 4, Russell 3, Alice 2, Lisa 1. Now,
this is the first time that Tim has ever won a task.
That's not a prize task, but yes. I just want to say, Joe, you're taking the next task. I swear, if you make this task any longer than it needs to be, I will kill you. Okay?
Oh, good luck. Okay, so we're in the lab. We're in the lab, and so we are presented with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 eggs on a napkin or a tablecloth, and the task is...
You are making this longer, aren't you?
What could possibly make you think that? Pull this tablecloth off of this table. Most eggs left unbroken on the table wins. You have one attempt and may not tamper with the table, tablecloth, or eggs. Your time starts now. And
I hate you. I hate you so much.
Why did you ask me to not do it long? If it's like, come on, man. Okay. So
it was a pick my poison. Which one do I do? Do I tell him to not take long and he deliberately pisses me off, or do I not tell him to do it and he just takes? He spends 15 minutes explaining what 2 plus 2 is.
Well, 2 plus 2, if you approach it in the standard fashion, is 4. But if
Fuck off!
Okay, fine. Anyways, so we start off with
I shouldn't have shouted.
We start off with Russell, who walks in. Does a very clean yank of the thing with one hand, and it's great because he actually does like the full cool one-handed yank, and then he apparently just walks out of the room and starts crying that he did
like when people do like the tablecloth trick at parties.
Yes.
This is essentially what it is.
Yes. Asim also gets a clean yank, but he used 2 hands. Alice Levine does a slow, like 2 hands pinching the edges, and she pulls it a little bit, and it manages to get out. And then Tim does a yank, a 2-handed yank. But interestingly enough, I did want to say the task said may not tamper with the table, tablecloth, or eggs. Now, nobody gets dinged for this, but I think it's very interesting that Tim pulls on the thing, and 9 of the eggs stay more or less where they were, but one of them starts to roll away and gets stopped because he put the task on the table, and the egg just sort of rolled into it and stopped. That
was lucky.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if anyone was ever wondering whether that would be considered tampering, because obviously there's open to interpretation on this show, but it's easy enough to not be tampering. But it did make me wonder.
He didn't intend for it. He wasn't manipulating the physical object of the task.
Like I was sort of wondering whether or not it would be considered tampering if like you pulled with one hand and had your arm in front of the other, in front of the eggs so that they wouldn't roll away. If that would be tampering, but I'm not sure. But anyways, Tim does that, and then we get Lisa, who does a one-handed yank. And again, same thing happens. One egg rolls away and gets stopped by the task. And I wonder if Greg or Alex were feeling more punchy, whether or not they'd give them shit for that. But it does not. They do not. And
they all get 5 points.
They all get 5 points. This task was fucking useless. I don't know why they aired it. Everyone is the exact same from where they
Imagine
were.
if I'm going against my own rules here, but imagine if they aired this as like a tiebreaker task and just say, oh, they both got the same score. Time for another tiebreaker task.
Yep, that would be real. That would actually be really funny. And then I would like to point out that
they probably would call that the biggest way. That would probably be if it was a tiebreaker task, it would be an even bigger waste of time than it would be as a regular task.
Oh my god.
Anyway, it's my turn to talk
well,
about
no, hold on. We're not done yet.
Oh, fuck off.
So,
dare I ask, would you have scored these differently?
No, I might have given them shit for having the eggs for having the eggs get stopped by the task, but that doesn't really fit with the definition of tamper. I'm not really sure how you would actually determine what tampering means. But anyways, we do have several adapted versions of this task. Season 3, episode 8 of our favorite Taskmaster adaptation,
Basti Test,
did it, and then we also get season 2, episode 6 of Kongan Befaler, except that the eggs are oriented very differently, and they also had to put the tablecloth into an envelope, and also were penalized time for touching or breaking eggs, as opposed to rather than being scored on the number of eggs left unbroken. And then finally, Sir Mistari did this actually just a couple of months ago, season 3, episode 7, which aired in June of 2022.
How do you find the other versions of this task?
It's on the master task page in taskmaster.info. And then there's also a master task for the work out the length of a piece of string task. It's only been done once, other than this one. Stormester season 2, episode 7. And there, which is the only other variant of this.
Next task.
Thank
fuck for that.
Find the link. Why did you give me the short task?
What do you mean?
Why you don't get to complain if I get the short task and then you're like, don't make it long. Don't make it long. What did you think was going to happen?
The next task. Find the link and then do it exactly 100 times. Fastest wins.
I like this task. This task is so much fun.
This is like an escape room.
I also would have failed miserably because this all relies on cultural references that I wouldn't have gotten.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you can, like, literally it's spelled out in the string, but you do need to take a step back to see it. Anyway, there isn't really a list anywhere of what actually the things are, but there was
there seemed to be it's a conspiracy board. So there's a couple of maps on the wall with lines drawn between relatively close together city pairs. There's a stuffed bunny in a crate of what looks like wood shavings, but are actually not wood shavings. We'll give it away if we say what it is. And then lines are put together between a bunch of different cutout letter clues, which seem to be related to musical album titles or things like that. I'm not entirely sure on what they are. Also, one thing I'd like to put out in the setting of this room, this is not the lab. It looks like the lab, but when
are we sure it's not the lab?
No, because they show a reverse angle of the lab from the view of the conspiracy board. And there's a window behind them and a radio.
The lab does have a window.
Is it? No, it doesn't. Is it always behind the?
I'm sure the lab has a window.
The lab is in an interior room in the house, I thought. And this, you know what this room looked like? This looked like we've seen this room before in season 1 or 2, maybe season 3, but it's got a
listeners. If you know if this is the lab or a completely different room, please email us at ytsnpod@gmail.com. First email drop in a very long time,
or put it in the comments below. But
if you're listening on YouTube, that is.
It looks almost like the room where they had to do something when they did the Impress This Mayor episode. They did a couple of things, I think, in the same office building that Chesham City Council was in, because you could see there's the same radiator pattern in the window, and it's a completely different building. I think.
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
But if you do, if someone out there does know, please let us know. Maybe we're just entirely wrong, and I've never seen.
Or maybe you're just entirely wrong because you're the
fourth wall. That's what I just said. Maybe I've.
No, you said we're in. No, fuck it. It doesn't matter. We love and hate each other at the same time. We're like an old married couple, aren't we?
If that's what you want to say, Schnookums, sure. Any,
Who's the mum? Who's the dad? I say who's
I'm
who's the husband? Who's the wife?
I'm the mom friend, so yeah,
You're the wife.
whatever.
I mean, you're the wife because you. I'll say it off camera.
Whatever.
Off camera. Anyway, it's hard. There's a clue that's like there's a bunch of things listed down. I couldn't work out what they are, but individual letters were circled. So if you read them down, they read Step Sky, which is how they drew the H, which is the name of the episode. Steps is a UK band that was very popular in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, and what does H have to do with that?
H is the first letter of Hop.
No, I meant like Step Sky. What?
Oh,
how
H
is that-
H was his stage name.
Okay,
Like-
that's what I was getting caught up on the entire time because like what H? What the hell do they mean by H? Step Sky.
H is his step name. It's like Slash from Guns N' Roses. It's not his real. It's like that.
I thought that it was like the title of an album or something.
No, it's like that.
Okay.
Or Freddie Mercury, if you want to be technical and say, "Oh, that's not his real birth name."
Yeah, no,
But
I know.
He did legally change it.
I know
Anyway,
what you're getting at.
Yeah, there are other clues like House of Pain, which also has abbreviated to Hop. There were individual letters. There was someone's album, I can't remember who, but that album was called O. And also the string itself, if you looked at it from a certain way, it did spell out Hop.
Yeah.
Anyway, the clue was
also
to hop 100 times. Team Funk worked together to solve the clues. They hop 50 times each with bunny hands.
And also the bunny itself that I mentioned is sitting in a box of beer hops, which everybody comments on because the room smells really funny when they walk in. It's during that scene that we see the back wall that doesn't look the same. When they all walk, it's like, oh, it smells funny in here. You can see there's a radiator and a window on the far wall that doesn't look like it's in the Taskmaster house.
Anyway, Team Funk achieve 100 hops in 11 minutes and 18 seconds. What else was that? Oh, yeah. I watched the episode on 2 times the speed. And when Greg and Alex both mind jumping with the bunny hops, it's really funny on 2 times the speed.
Okay.
Team Control Alt Delete, or should I say Team Lisa plus Asim and Tim.
Yeah.
In this instance, they tried to Asim and Tim took a while to try and work out the clues, but Lisa had clocked that they had to hop very quickly because she noticed something that
she noticed that the bunny was sitting in hops, and she guessed that immediately, and then Asim spent the rest of the time talking Tim out of it.
But yeah, Lisa ignores Asim and just achieves 100 hops on her own. And she achieves the task in 8 minutes and 34 seconds. Tim cons on towards the end, but Asim does nothing. And at the end, he's just going to be like, he leaves the room. It's like, Greg's going to kill me for this.
No, Tim said that. Asim said that Tim said that. But,
okay, you lost me with the too many said that.
Tim said that Greg is going to make fun of me for this, but Asim relayed that anecdote in the studio.
Yep. This would be a fun task to do, but you'd need like a different.
I definitely would have gotten this. Although I would also like to point out that they both seem to have someone who they did seem to make this knowing that there would be someone in here who would get the clues, because Russell, Tim, and Lisa both did not know about Mr. H, but Alice, who's a radio DJ, did, and Asim, who seems like he would be in the demographic for a band whose frontman is called H, both cottoned on immediately. And I think that might have been something specifically why.
This watching this team task prompted me to ask you a question. Joe, would you rather be on a team of 2 or a team of 3 for Taskmaster?
It would depend on who I was paired with.
I am one of your teammates.
Who else? Who's the third person if it's the 3-person team?
Spelvin.
Oh shit! That'd probably have to be 3 person. We'd probably either be real. This would either be a, put our heads together or our brain cells are allergic to each other situation.
Would you rather be on a team with me or Spelvin?
I don't know. I could easily see either way of us ending up like Ed Gamble and David Baddiel, where there's one person doing it and the other one trying to murder them.
They were only a team for one episode, one task.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that still.
Anyway, I go with Spelvin. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks. Anyways, moving on to the next test. Pull off an elaborate snooker trick. So we're standing outside in the garden, in the driveway of the Taskmaster house, and we're presented with a snooker table. What is snooker? I don't give a shit. It's weird mutated billiards, but with
it is billiards. It's what the British call billiards.
It's weird mutated billiards with only one.
Oh no, it's
colored
not
ball.
mutated. It's just a name difference.
We have balls that are different colors with numbers on them.
That's snooker.
No, it's not. These balls are red. They're all red.
Taskmaster, because the Taskmaster color's red.
No, snooker balls are always all one color.
No, they're a mixture of colors. Are you thinking of pool?
No, pool
is when you have red and yellow balls. Snooker is when you have a variety of different colors.
Okay. Okay, I think that this is another transatlantic thing, because have you ever seen an American pool ball?
No.
Have you? Okay, American pool balls are different colors, some of them solid colors, some of them striped, all of them numbered, and the aim is to put them into the pockets in numerical order using a single white cue ball that cannot at any point end up in the pocket.
Is it a one-player game?
You play it against someone else. Usually one person is stripes and the other person is solids. Whatever the fuck is going on with snooker is a weird mutated bizarro world version of that, and I don't like it.
It's too late for my brain to function, so I'm just going to let you talk.
And I don't like it. It's, why are they all the same color? Why are there like 6 balls that are different colors as well? It's really weird. No one should play snooker. Just play pool like an American.
And pool's fun to play with too. It's more fun it's easier to get a grasp of pool.
Like, just while I'm talking, Emerson, just Google American pool balls.
All right, okay.
And yeah, that's what they look like. Anyways, onwards to this one. It's the rules of snooker don't actually matter. They're supposed to do a trick shot that would get the balls into the various pockets. We start off with Alice Levine, who has never played snooker before in her life, and Alice just tips the pool table around and around and around until all the balls rolled into the pockets. Not that impressive, really, especially because she has to do it like 5 times.
And she sings.
And she sings because she doesn't know what else to do.
Can I just say what came up when I Googled American pool balls?
Yes.
So it's 16 balls, including the white ball. And only from 10 onwards is there a stripe in them.
Yes.
But why do some people have to pot
the 9 ball is also striped.
No, the one I'm looking at here is, sorry, I'm in a weird position. Oh yeah, the first, night, I think it's hard to, let me look at a different picture. Keep talking, Joe.
Pool's weird. People only ever play it at bars.
It does have a stripe, but even so, that's still one more ball than your opponent.
I think it might be evens versus odds. I'm not, what are the, okay, hold on.
Well, there's 15 snooker balls, or American pool as you call it.
Okay, hold on. Rack the ball.
This is great podcasting.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll try and entertain the people or something.
Makeup shot.
So airplane food. What is up with that stuff?
Rules of pool. Okay, you know what?
This is unlistenable. This is unlistenable.
I'm gonna Google this late.
Would you like me to take over for a change?
No, I got it. I just don't. I just haven't played pool in like 5 years.
Well, you've not played your version of pool. Oh, God, this is unlistenable.
Whatever.
Not your fault. Not your fault. Not your fault.
Anyways, if you know how to play pool, put it in the comments or email us at ytsnpod@gmail.com.
Do you play American or British pool? Because they're not the same sport.
You should only ever play American pool because America makes the best sports. End of discussion.
What about non-American football? That's one of the. I mean, I don't love it, but it's a sport that brings a lot of people together.
You should never play soccer. You should only ever play football. Play gridiron football.
Good luck teaching. Good luck teaching. Good luck teaching 7 billion people how to play that sport.
It's not hard. There are like 9 referees on the field. Anything they say is bullshit. Anything they say is bullshit, and if it's against your team, they are wrong. There. End of knowledge needed. You will find out as it goes. You will find there are only downs, never ups. End zones.
Can we call this episode 9 Wrong Referees?
Yes, 9 wrong refs. They're always wrong. Every single thing they say is a lie.
Should we spell wrong RONG just for like the alliteration?
Yes.
Okay,
9
cool.
wrong. Yeah. They should own everything they say is incorrect. It is against your team. They have been paid off by the league to do this, and they are always supporting the team that's winning, except when it's you. When you're winning, they are against you, and they are trying to make you fail. That is always how it works. They will never. It is never team A versus team B. It's team A versus team B versus the fucking refs. Everybody who watches American football knows how this goes. These people might as well referee with fucking blindfolds on for all they know.
Please.
They have instant goddamn replay and they still fuck it up.
Please keep going.
Right. Oh, yes. Okay. Jesus Christ. We haven't gotten past Alice Levine. Okay. Alice. Yeah, she gets everything in. Greg was going to let Alex do the scoring. He said that his options were either, is this rubbish or is this actually okay? Alex says it's okay. Greg says that's incorrect. It was rubbish. I'm inclined to agree. Anyways, next up, Russell Howard. He comes up with an assortment of things in a wheelbarrow, including a leaf blower and some hula hoops, soccer and basketballs, and instructs Alex to heckle him. Does a variety of nonsense things like hula hoops, chip shots through the caravan door, throwing a basketball and throwing a different hula hoop, and then does a behind the back shot with the snooker ball, with the snooker cue. It's very Nish Kumar in that immediately
I wrote down it Nish Kumar too. I put he Nish Kumar's it.
He did. It's very much like Nish Kumar's attempt with the basketball and the kicking, because it took him like 19 attempts or something like that to get it right.
And this isn't like doing the same thing over again. It's a routine.
It's like when you're trying to get a Rube Goldberg machine to work. There's like the one time it works and the 90 times that they didn't. It's very dumb.
And knowing everyone's luck, it works perfectly the first time and never works properly again.
Uh-huh. And then after that, we get Lisa, who actually did a stop motion film, which, again, it's
Russell calls a sea of bullshit.
Russell does call it a sea of bullshit, but Greg immediately makes a good point, which is that Lisa didn't actually do anything. She had the production staff do this stop motion thing, which meant that she didn't have to live to finger, which is the ultimate trick shot.
Yeah.
And also it's a really good stop motion animation. I liked it. Then we get Asim and Tim, who both did more or less the same thing. Asim put a lot of drain pipes together, dropped the ball down it, and it rolled into a line of other balls and knocked one into a pocket. And then Tim set up a table and then the mailbox from the caravan. He hit the ball into the mailbox through a pipe, moved the pipe out of the way. The ball bounced out onto the table, onto the snooker table, and then rolled into a pocket which had a toy giraffe in it, which stopped the ball from entering the pocket.
Oh, God.
When the Lester potted giraffe.
First of all, the name calling it the lesser Potter giraffe is what wins him the task.
Yes, it does.
And second of all, when the ball hits the giraffe makes like a squeaky noise.
It
and
does.
The audience fucking eats it up. Like,
the audience,
squeaks.
it's very inventive. It's very funny.
And it's funnier than it has any right to be.
And Tim actually does push the giraffe out of the way with the cue in order to make the ball go in to fully end the task. It was fun. I liked it. I do like this trick sort of stuff.
There's a great task based around Tim Vine. Sorry, I mean Tim Key's great, and he should do puns. But there's a great task based around Tim Vine and his pun making a little later in the series.
Huh. Interesting. We'll have to get to that when we get to it. As far as scoring
Something
goes,
to look forward to.
Greg does put Tim in first, Lisa second, Russell third, Asim fourth, Alice fifth. Drop the Taskmaster Joe theme here.
Ooh, that was good.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Lisa, first place. I really like the stop motion. Tim, second place. I like the trick shot, especially with the ball going into the mailbox and then bouncing out. Asim third, and then Alice and Russell were both shit. I put them fifth together.
Fair enough.
And then you get the live task.
I do get the live task. And
you get the other egg task.
Excellent. Fucking kill me.
And there was no adapted task for the last one, or for this one, actually. I'm
surprised for this one.
This is one of the lowest adapted task episodes ever. I think there's like 2 adapted tasks out of 5.
I mean, imagine when we get to the recent ones was tasks that had never been done before. Or well, probably not at the time we record, but oh well. Live task: throw as many eggs onto the shelf as possible. You must lie flat on your bed at all times. Most eggs on the shelf wins. I wrote one thing down for this,
and you have 100 seconds.
Yeah, the one thing I wrote down for this is Russell chooses to not wear his visor, which means if an egg splatters, he will get eggshell in his eye and probably blind him. Thankfully, that doesn't happen, but he still should have worn it.
I'd like to just sort of note the setting here. They're on the stage. There's a tripod with a shelf that screws onto it above it, and then they have a basket of eggs at their side. They're all wearing boiler suits, too. And they're
Taskmaster loves putting its people in boiler suits.
One thing I would like to point out, though, is that only one person did not zip the boiler suit fully up and to cover their entire body, and that is Lisa Tarbuck, who unzips the boiler suit and doesn't have it on her arms or shoulders or torso. And she has the boiler suit pulled down with just her shirt on. And guess who gets an egg that falls backwards onto her and splatters on her shirt?
I don't know.
Lisa Tarbuck, the only one who did not have the boiler suit fully covering her body.
I mean, I was gonna say the name of a random woman, and just one couldn't come to my brain. That's not your fault. I just wanted to say it.
Anyways, but yeah, no, this is one of these live task things that I really don't like because it's just levels of bullshit that we don't need. I don't maybe what I kind of wish the live tasks were is almost like a regular version of a task. Instead of
tasks that could work pre-recorded, but
maybe instead of having it's usually prize task, 3 tasks, and then the live task. Maybe have prize task 2 VTs and then the live task be the 3rd task, and take 20 minutes or something to do it.
I think that might change the pace of the show a little bit. You've got it all building up to this really exciting live task at the end, and then it just it happens midway through, and it's
they're always so goddamn weird, and they don't have they're never
oh well, wait until we get to the COVID series, because there's no in-house audiences. The tasks don't have to be particularly visually engaging.
Oh, fun. Anyways, is there anything else you got to say about this task? Because we
not really. Lisa wins despite not wearing her suit correctly and getting eggshell on.
I've never seen eggs bounce as much as I did here.
I don't. The thing is, there was I say they were breaking. There was a shocking lack of eggs breaking.
There were some that broke, but a lot of them bounced.
Like I said, there was a shocking lack. I didn't say none of them broke.
No,
But some flew right over the thing and landed back on the ground completely undamaged.
Or
maybe some were just made of rubber, or someone made of rubber or really dense plastic.
I'm kind of wondering whether or not there were some like hard-boiled eggs in there, and they just never said anything.
I mean, that would be so evil if some of the eggs were hard boiled and some of them just
did
raw.
use rubber eggs in like a live task later in like season 10, didn't they?
So I think series 9, because there's one where Ed Gamble
throws one. He doesn't know it's made of rubber until it hits the ground the first time, because he completely overestimated his trajectory. Underestimated.
Maybe this is like a precursor to that. Like Alex was just testing whether or not anyone would notice rubber eggs.
I mean, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you just got to get those eggs on the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lisa wins, but it's not. I was gonna say I'll get to that in a second. Lisa wins, and she's the first contestant to enter the triple digits, miles ahead of Asim and Alice. But it's not her episode this time because it is Vine time. Woo!
Vine time.
Joe, as someone who has not seen the series, and now that we're at the halfway point, who do you think is going to win?
Oh, probably Russell Howard.
Russell Howard? Has he won an episode yet?
Russell looks like I'm probably wrong. Russell looks like I've seen him in the trailers for Champion of Champions 2.
Oh, I have one quick question about that.
He also does Dress for Success.
So that we wrap this up in 10 minutes. You know they took a while to actually air Champion of Champions 2?
Yes.
Should we cover it immediately after we finish Series 10, or should we wait until it falls naturally within the show's line?
Whenever it aired.
So you think it aired immediately after Series 13? You don't want to cover it after Series 10 when actually the cast are going to be the proper cast are going to be there
after season 13, because that's when they aired it. I think it's
all right.
Yep, and then a couple of things I'd like to note after the prize task. When we see that Tim won, Greg shouts about sturdiness and makes Alex get on the ground and appears to jump on his back. But actually, they've moved like a small table behind Alex, which Greg is jumping up on, and then Greg falls off of it and crashes down onto his chair, which is really funny. And in the meantime, we've got Russell's brother up on the stage, who, I have to say this, Russell has the face for television in his family. His brother looks like knockoff Rob Beckett.
I should probably look more into that because the episode finished and I was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm not recording. His brother looks like knockoff
Rob Beckett, and also looks very disappointed that Russell didn't win, which I think is very funny. But it is a very funny end to the episode. As far
it is
as
funny.
Seeing Greg almost fucking die, especially.
I mean, Greg was talking about impaling himself on all the sturdy things to test how sturdy they were.
His chair is very sturdy then.
And it has to support his big boy frame.
Yeah, and he fell on it and it didn't break. So that is very funny. That is the end of this episode. If you know how to play American style pool, please tell me. I forgot. I don't want to look it up. I am looking it up. It's not helping.
Well, come over to the UK and I'll teach you British pool.
I don't want to learn European sports. Everyone should learn American sports.
He doesn't think that, really.
American sports are the best sports. The NFL has a world championship and no American team has ever lost. No. It's only
ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. I've got to take care of this clown. Bye.
No, you don't. Goodbye.